Hello, my name is Nathan Mai, and today I'm going to be presenting my speech number two, which is the persuasive essay, followed by Monroe's motivated speech outline. Today I have joined with me,
Jennifer Aguilar.
and she will be my live audience member as I present the speech. So, without further ado, let's begin. Over the last year, many people have struggled due to COVID-19 taking jobs, homes, and lives away. People have lost their income, they've lost the food on their table, and have lost a lot of other things in life. So, what I propose in order to unite us as one, regardless of race, income status, or political belief, we can all volunteer to help one another out. Working and volunteering for nonprofit organizations in the past has brought me to realize how much joy it can actually bring to others around us and bring the communities together as one. So, first, to begin with, we can deal with the COVID-19 impacts on food banks, jobs, and homelessness. Due to COVID-19 taking away jobs in America, we have seen many families turn to food banks in order to feed their own homes and their children. With this, in the first few months during the pandemic, we've seen that food banks were extremely overwhelmed and in high demand. Food banks have been providing support for those families that have been struggling. It helps alleviate the one stress of worrying about food on the table. And AP News states that now in the pandemic of 2020, with illness, job loss, and business closure, millions of more Americans are worried about empty refrigerators and barren cupboards, which food banks are doling out meals at a rapid pace, and an Associated Press data analysis found a sharp rise in the amount of food distributed compared with last year. Meanwhile, some folks are skipping meals so their children can eat, and others depending on cheap food that lacks nutrition. With stats like this and facts, we can see that families are struggling in America and these food banks are saving lives and families. Adults are skipping out on meals just so their kids can eat, which is a huge problem. Another issue we have are jobs. Once the pandemic and lockdowns began, we saw a lot of companies begin laying off workers in order to stay afloat. These major layoffs caused financial issues for many families. In an article by SIDRAP, it is stated that job loss in 2020 was higher than job loss in the Great Depression in the 1930s. They state the U.S. job reports of April bring sobering, if not unexpected news. The country has lost 20.6 million jobs since mid-March, resulting in an unemployment rate of 14.7%, a level not seen since the Great Depression in the 1930s. They also state that job loss doubled the number of jobs lost since the recent Great Depression in 2007 to 2009. With this, I've known many families in general that have lost their jobs and have been laid off due to the pandemic itself. This caused many financial issues for their childcare and even helping and having them pay their rent and their bills. You see, those are just one of the too many things that are issues that COVID-19 has created. And another one that people many often overlook is the effect of COVID on the homeless. With the loss of jobs in America, we've also seen the rates of homelessness increase in America. The global pandemic created more and more problems for the homeless as if they weren't struggling already. People were losing their jobs and they're forced to turn to the streets as a last resort to live. Massive safety regulations weren't properly provided for the homeless due to their conditions and their social status, which makes them one of the most vulnerable people amidst this pandemic. In an article written by Modern Healthcare, they state that homeless people are usually in poor health and with widespread closure had lost access to services providing food, water, and shelter. This quote shows that many homeless people are in need of help to survive past this pandemic. Now that I work for a hospital, I see many more homeless people today. With this, I've seen many struggle to attain medical attention when they are feeling symptomatic because of their condition, and once they do not receive medical attention, they are treated best due to the status in society. So I wholeheartedly support the status that they are the most vulnerable people in this pandemic. Step three, I want to propose a solution. Many of these issues can be solved by volunteering. We as people can give up our time in order to relieve some of these companies and their staff. For food banks, we can all provide help. We can go to feeding.com or feedingamerica.com, and this site will list different ways that you can volunteer at food banks to provide for support for those in need. We can help those in financial need by supporting and donating extra resources we have to them. We can all help. This brings the community together and helps people who don't have enough money to buy the things that we can buy. And then lastly, we can provide support to the homeless by doing some of the other earlier things. We can donate some of the extra things we have around our household, extra blankets, extra clothes, and stuff like that. I personally want to actually get into that and start providing those to the people in need around me. Some people might say that they don't have enough time to volunteer because they're struggling with their own issues, which is a real thing. And sometimes that's true. Maybe you can't do an hour a day, or maybe you can't do an hour a week. But even just some time, some of your time can help impact someone significantly. Some people I do know personally volunteered for quote unquote good karma. or they volunteer for their own personal gratification. This is not why we should volunteer. We should volunteer in order to help those around us, in order to make other people feel better and feel great. Do it for the people, other people's enjoyments rather than your own. Remember, this world is always bigger than just you. You never know how much a small deed to you can mean so much to someone else. So, if you can, please allocate some of your time to help those in the community around you. Let's all bring each other back together and be one again. Especially with this whole 2020, this whole pandemic and everything going on, we as a community need to do this. We as the people need to do this. So go outside and help the community that raised you. Thank you for your time.